Hi friends, in this video we will be talking about deliberative democracy. As this picture suggests here, it is about deliberation between people. Now, this form of democracy cannot exist on its own in modern nations, especially with larger populations and also the extended forms of government that we have. But it can complement the regular representative democracy processes in certain areas. It basically can be all about placing people, that is, citizens, residents, and affected individuals, closer to the affairs of a government. Now, deliberative democracy can also be called as deliberative engagement. The people are given adequate information and time about a new initiative of the government in this form of deliberation. It is different from representative democracy because it puts conversations, diverse perspectives, and understanding at the center of the decision rather than relying on polling and voting. Inside a representative democracy, if the government is planning on having a brand new project, let's say a developmental project, which might have a huge impact on people directly or indirectly, the government usually may make a unilateral decision upon that project. But instead, if the people who are going to be affected by this particular project is given a chance to deliberate upon it, that is, to discuss upon it, to learn about it, to be informed about it, with adequate information and adequate time, the people might have very different perspectives on the upcoming project. That is the whole point of having deliberative democracy. It emphasizes on information processing and information exchange. It is also about the transparency of a government project that is about to happen and influence all the people's lives. The people should be given information about what the government is planning. And also, they should be given enough time to make sense of what is going to happen, and also plenty of platforms to exchange their own perspective about how that is going to affect them. This would also encourage these people to test and weigh up and grapple with a range of perspectives, inputs, and evidence. The basic principles of deliberative engagement. If given enough information and a good platform to exchange ideas, people will have a high level of influence over outcomes or decision. Let's say, for example, an irrigation program is being planned by the government. If that is about building a hydroelectric plant across a river and a large amount of forests will be destroyed, or large amount of forest dwelling community will be affected by it, or things like that, it is imperative for all these people to be involved in these decisions. That is what deliberative democracy would ensure. And different perspectives will have an influence in the decisions that will be taken about the project. The second principle is that the participants will have access to information they need to have an in-depth conversation and sufficient time to consider this information. Also, the third principle is that the participants are selected randomly. They are representatives of the broader community and inclusive of all voices. This is a particularly important principle considering that people from all communities that might be affected by one particular initiative of the government have to be represented. Now, if conducted effectively, these kind of democratic processes can lead to new solutions for the most challenging problems we face. Because the more people get involved and diverse perspectives come in, it is possible that new innovative ideas or solutions would prevail and make a situation better. It would, of course, improve the policy outcomes and create trust between the citizens and government. The transparency of the government would come forward, and of course, the citizens will have a better trust for their government. These processes draw on collective intelligence and result in decisions that are better and supported by the wider public. Better the engagement by the people, better support the government gets for the particular projects from people. It also shares responsibility. The people will have a direct, responsible hand towards the kind of projects the government takes up. Now, what are the benefits of deliberative democracy? This would increase the people's level of knowledge about issues. They would be more informed, they would have more considered views, and they will have better platforms. There will be a trust between the authorities and communities. It would also build the capacity and capability of the citizens. It also increases the general level of civic engagement and political participation in general. There are different kinds of forms of deliberative engagement present in different democracies, different countries. Some of the examples are the following. One can be citizen juries. When a group of selected members of a community that makes recommendation to decision makers on a complex issue after a period of investigation and deliberation on one particular matter. The second one is participatory budgeting. If the people get a voice in budgeting, they would of course talk about the issues that are more important pertaining to them and make budgets accordingly. So it would be a bottom-up approach. Also, another one is deliberative panels and forums, which we can find in India. In a lot of times, if mostly it happens with developmental programs. Usually it affects people in a bad way, and people come together, and the government officials usually have a conversation between these people. Thank you.